What is up, you guys? Thank you guys so much for stopping in. I see there's a lot of you guys already in here. That's exciting to see. If you guys have any fantasy football questions of your own, now would be the time to ask. This is the week 2 Start Sit Live. I'm here for you guys. If you guys have any fantasy football questions of your own, please drop them down below. Do not be shy. Thank you guys again so much for joining. I'm on Underdog right now. I'm thinking about maybe should we potentially go into a draft? Should I maybe do a little bit of like the gambling side of Underdog? Should we take this over to DraftKings? Let me know what you guys want to see. Right now I'm thinking about doing a $3 draft. I have 6 in the account. I'm really balling on a budget here. But if you guys want me to drop on like a $5 one, I will do that. But you guys got to let me know. If you guys have any fantasy football questions, start sits, now is the time to ask, so don't be shy. I may just go into a little 1v1. I feel like that's weird, though. I feel like I probably should have just added more on the account, low-key. But you know what? We could do a $5 4-person draft. I feel like that's at least, I'm going to get my most value out of that. But again, if anyone in this chat has any start-sit questions, we could start with that. I went to the Savannah Bananas game last night, so I got my Savannah Bananas cup. I'm chilling. How could you leave a baseball game without getting the cup from the stadium? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure plenty of you at home have your, baseball stadium cups that you guys drink out of. I like my Savannah Bananas one. I think it's dope. I'm going to sit in this draft lobby. I feel like me not being in a lobby doesn't help, so I might as well just go into it for the fun of it. We could talk about matchups we like, matchups we don't like. So let's just go ahead and start with the quarterback position. I don't think I love Lamar Jackson as the QB1 this week. If I had my pick of the litter, I think I'm going to go Josh Allen on that one. Jalen Hurts is a great matchup against Kansas City. I like that one. Joe Burrow against Jacksonville may even just be the best of the choices, to be honest. We're going right into a draft right now. Ooh, I'm the double pick. Oh, no, I'm the first pick. Damn. I think it's safe to say that Jamar Chase is not going to have another stinker of a game, right? I see CeeDee Lamb against the Giants, and I want to take him. I see Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Chicago Bears, and I want to take him. Christian McCaffrey, oh my goodness. I feel like Christian McCaffrey is the only guy they could throw to today, so this is a tough one. What are my running back options if I don't take Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, could take James Conner. And lock up my wide receiver to be Jamar Chase. I think that may just be the strat here. But you guys let me know. I see a few of you in here. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to throw some input in. Let me know what you guys think. I'm on the clock right now. Do I take up all my time? Nah, I'm just going to take Jamar Chase. Have at it. You can have Christian McCaffrey. I want Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are going to have a day today. If I could stack the both of them, I would be really excited for that. Now I'm trying to think, what should I do with my double pick? Because now it kind of gets interesting. I could go ahead. I could take my quarterback. I could take a tight end. There are options here. Low key, maybe I'll take Tyler Warren as my tight end. There's only 4 of us in here. I'm sure not everybody's going to be looking for him. Maybe one other person. So I won't be able to use him for my last pick, but we only get 4 picks here. Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, and Derrick Henry go after I take Jamar Chase. I think all of those are valid. If I could end up with Jahmyr Gibbs, I would be extremely happy here. What the hell? Even if I could take all of the Bengals players, I mean, that would be a great stack also. Definitely eyeing Jahmyr Gibbs if I get the opportunity. Devon Achane, a solid option here, but I'm a little worried about that Dolphins offense right now. Even though they're playing the Patriots and they should get going, who really knows at the end of the day? I know for a fact that Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Chicago Bears defense, that's going to be a good matchup for him because it's not going to be a good matchup for the wide receivers in Detroit. But if you guys are just stopping in, thank you for watching. Now is the time to ask your fantasy football questions if you have any. Let's talk ball. I'm here before kickoff. I'm going to get off at like 12:45. Damn. What am I going to do? You know what? Quarterback, don't be stupid. Just take Josh Allen. He's going to have a day. He's Superman. I like James Conner, honestly. I mean, what are the Cardinals going to do other than just run it right at the Panthers? I mean, I don't know. I like James Conner there. Yeah, maybe it's a stupid pick. There's a lot of great running backs there, but I like James Conner to have a day today. We're shooting for upside here. A lot of people are going to have really good players, but we want the best players this week. I think I have arguably the best quarterback, best wide receiver, and I think my running back has a shot to be one of the best this week. Now it's more so, how do I lock in and get the tight end position filled? I know for a fact that I don't want Mark Andrews. I don't want to really go past the Tyler Warren tier, but realistically, Tyler Warren will get picked before my next pick. Good to know that we do have a flex spot. I forgot that there is a flex. Did not say that there was a flex. How does this work? How does scoring work? Yeah, you get one flex. It doesn't say that, but that's good to know. I should have read the rules. Warren or Laporta, non-PPR. I'm still going to go with Warren. I feel like there's a better matchup in this game for Tyler Warren to break out versus the Chicago Bears defense can be tricky. Laporta is an X factor in the game. Of course, he can pop off and, not saying expose the secondary because the secondary is really not going to be keeping an eye on him too much, but it's an interesting matchup. But I do like Tyler Warren a little more. But thank you, Cole, for asking your question. I do appreciate you stopping by, brother. Good luck this week. I'm looking for Tyler Warren here myself. If I had a pick of the litter between Tyler Warren and Sam Laporta, I'm taking Tyler Warren. And speak of the devil, here we go. Tyler Warren, easy peasy. Now I have my choice of, I can go Achane, I can go Breece Hall. I really like a lot of these choices here. I think I want to go running back, but the question is going to be, who is my running back? Because there's a lot of good ones here left. I think Achane gives me the upside here, realistically. Having Achane as my second running back in a matchup where they could potentially be up in this game, they could run the clock. I like having Achane as my second running back. I'm getting another pick. How many? Okay, we have 6 rounds. All right, cool. Not complaining. I just feel like I have Jamar Chase, so I don't really want another wide receiver, to be honest. Got my Savannah Bananas cup on deck. I went to that game last night. That was awesome. Shouts out to them. They put on a show. But yeah, I'm a little nervous about today. I have a fantasy matchup in my 10-man league. I know 10-man is kind of whack, but a lot of my close friends play in this league. So in my 10-man, had George Kittle on IR. I slotted in Tucker Kraft this weekend. Having a great feeling so far, but I am playing against Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey, so things can go out of hand for me. So we'll see how that goes this weekend. We'll find out today. Or we'll find out really tomorrow because I have Drake London, but I got to just weather the storm today. That's really what it comes down to. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any fantasy football questions of your own, now is the time to ask. Do not be shy. I'm waiting for my last pick in this underdog draft. And then, yeah, I'm just going to be waiting for you guys to be dropping more questions. A lot of good wide receiver choices here. Wow. Not going to lie. I kind of like Hollywood Brown in this game. I really do. Yeah, I think I'm going Hollywood Brown here. As crazy as it sounds. Give me the Chiefs wide receiver 1 in a matchup that we're not going to forget. Chiefs-Eagles tonight. I like that one. That's a solid one for me. What do you guys think? How do you think I did? I secured Jamar Chase, best player, with my first pick. Josh Allen, best quarterback. Fields or Bo Nix? I love Bo Nix today. I know that the vibe and the aura around Bo Nix is very low. I am a little biased towards Bo Nix, so maybe that's why I'm very confident about him. But I got to be honest, he had a slow start to last season. Last season, he had a bad week too. So it's a little risky to play him again. I like this matchup, though, against the Colts. I don't think that the Colts defense is going to disrupt this offense like they did to the Miami Dolphins. I think that you're going to have the Broncos in this game, in a game where they feel like people aren't really respecting them. They won, but it wasn't enough. They didn't look very good. I think Bo Nix is really going to show out. It's not to say that Justin Fields won't have a great game, but it always feels like in years past with Justin Fields, right as the bubble is about to really burst and get going, we're going to have this elite QB season. And I'm not trying to disrespect him because he's had elite QB seasons before, but it always feels like right when he's about to get going, Justin Fields throws a stinker game in there for you. And I think the Bills defense could give him some problems and potentially, make Justin Fields have a stinker game. And I also like Breece Hall's matchup against the run. So maybe Justin Fields gets going with the rushing yards and the rushing opportunity in this game. But I also think Bo Nix has equal rushing opportunity in his game against the Colts. So we'll see. I do pay for Tyler's Discord, Vito, so thank you for letting me know about that. That's why I was able to get, such a great team here. I had Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, and I get Tyler Warren, who's a beast, because I listen to Tyler and he gives me all of his picks. It's great. A lot of people are projecting Bo Nix to not have a great game this weekend. I feel, honestly, the opposite. I think this is a player that doesn't have a problem going in the road, going into Indy, taking care of business. They are the better team in this one. I don't see why it can't be a get-right game for Bo Nix. I feel you. To give you my perspective on it, in my 10-man where Bo Nix is my starting quarterback, yeah, that's unfortunate. I have Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy. I really like J.J. McCarthy Monday night against the Falcons. I think that's a great matchup. But for some reason, I know that if I leave Bo Nix on my bench, he's going to light it up because that's just, I don't know. Last year, that was Bo Nix's DNA. If you were ready to doubt him, as soon as you were I don't know if he's got it, he always puts a big game up. So I like Bo Nix in week 2 to put up a big game, and we'll just have to wait and see. If I'm wrong, you can come back here and clown me for the take, but I feel strong about Bo Nix right now. What up, Steve? How we doing? Pearsall, Travion, or Hollywood Brown? Pearsall. So we got Pearsall versus the New Orleans Saints. The issue is obviously quarterback play because you would love to play Ricky Pearsall knowing that he's going to be the only other guy they could throw the ball to who's not named Christian McCaffrey. So you love the idea of the opportunity in Pearsall. I think Travion Henderson can sit on your bench for one more week. Personally love the talent, but I don't think that we're really necessarily looking to start a limited running back who's explosive versus Pearsall, the wide receiver, with more opportunities. So I like Pearsall right now, but I'm stuck between Pearsall and you also said Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown may have the better matchup tonight. The Eagles secondary is really exposable. We saw Dak have his way with them. I think Patrick Mahomes, he's 0-1. He's playing with a vengeance. Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce are really the only guys they can throw the football to right now. Sure, Juju Smith-Schuster's on the team. Yes, they're going to sprinkle in some Isaiah Pacheco, but I think I like Hollywood Brown this week slightly over Ricky Pearsall. But I think, Steve, you have some great players on your team, so I don't think this is necessarily an issue to have at all. I would say this week you can go ahead, you can play Hollywood Brown, and then maybe next week when we identify more of what does the 49ers offense look like with Mac Jones, we can make a better decision going forward. Do we like Hollywood better or do we like Pearsall better? But I think those are some great wide receivers and a great question. So thanks for asking. I'm really excited for this week. I think that Sunday night Chiefs-Eagles game is going to be magic. I think there's going to be a lot of Patrick Mahomes fireworks plays. He's 0-1. People really believe that he may just go 0-2, and I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But even if it does happen, you better believe that Patrick Mahomes is going down with a fight. There is no 30 to 8, deficit in this one or whatever it was in the Super Bowl. This is going to be a laser-focused Chiefs offense, so I like Hollywood Brown for that reason. I wish I had more money on the underdog account. It's a shame. I guess we could look at how bad my teams are going so far this year in best ball. We did a lot of those drafts on Mock Monday. Let's see. Oh, I'm in 10th place. Let's look how bad this is. How bad is this? Oh, it's 10 out of 12. I thought I was in last place. Okay, Drake. I have Herbert. Okay. Herbert, Kamara. Yeah, this team ain't that great. Oh, I have Jamar Chase, though. I'm cooling. Yeah, I'm fine. Travis Kelce, Jake Ferguson, Brenton Strange. That ain't cooling, but I do have Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice. So I feel like I'm cooling. Yeah, I'm in 10th, but I like where I'm at. I wouldn't worry so much about Brian Thomas Jr. having a bad game. I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not the guy with Brian Thomas Jr. in my lineup this year, but as someone who had him last year, how many games did he absolutely over-deliver in fantasy? Like, it got to the point where we really were expecting him to be like a top 10 wide receiver every week in fantasy. I'm not saying he's not that anymore because he's still him, right? But he over-delivered so much in his first NFL season that if he has a bad week one, like, it's okay and the sky isn't falling. Yes, he had a great matchup and didn't take advantage, but J.C. Horn is a phenomenal corner. It wasn't like some bum lined up in front of him and he had a bad game. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. is an awesome player. J.C. Horn is an awesome corner. They duked it out. Horn got the better of that matchup, and that's okay. He over-delivered so much in fantasy last year. He can have a bad week one and still have an incredible season, and you'll probably forget about it, honestly. I really like Brian Thomas Jr. I think he is a stud. He is an LSU wide receiver, so you know he has the pedigree. I wouldn't worry so much about him. You know he's him. Let me take a look at this second place team. What are we doing over here? Okay, Josh Allen, we like that. Bijan, we like that. Keon Coleman, Jacoby Myers. Okay. Everyone knows I'm not the Keon Coleman guy here on YouTube. Throw a lot of Keon Coleman slander around. He's looked good so far, but I don't think that's going to keep up. Tucker Kraft, though, my dog. Yeah, I do agree with that. He did pick it up, but he's still delivered as a great wide receiver in fantasy with Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. I feel like it's too early for me to anoint this in a young player's career, but I don't know if it matters who's throwing the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's just a very good wide receiver. I think he's going to be good enough to make it work with whoever or whomever. Justin Herbert. I got a lot of teams with Herbert, and that's why I'm in this like top 3 area. I like that. Dylan Sampson, cool. Damn, I didn't even get any points from Drake London or George Pickens last week. That's funny. Cedric Tillman showed up. Pearsall showed up. Quentin Johnston. That's funny. I wouldn't be so worried, though, about the Jaguars' offense as a whole. I think their division gives them enough opportunity to, even if they weren't a good team, have a lot of games this year where they're fighting and they're competitive. But yeah. Ooh, I'm in 12th place. Let's see this team. Let's see how bad this one. Oh, I'm really in last place. CJ Stroud and Bo Nix. Yeah, that's going to do it to you. Travion Henderson's my best running back. That's also going to do it to you. But my wide receivers, though, I have Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Ricky Pearsall. I like that. Tyler Warren is my tight end. That's cool. I like that. Where else am I? 12th. Here. I have a couple. I have a few. I see a third one. Oh, my God. I'm doing bad in this one. Oh, well, Jared Goff is my only quarterback. That's why. Rashee Rice is my best wide receiver. That's also why. What the hell? How did I do this team? Did I just go? Yeah, I went 3 running backs in a row, clearly. And I just started peppering wide receiver. Yeah, that's a bad team. What the hell was I doing? I agree with you. A-Chain definitely had... A-Chan. Sorry for pronunciating it wrong. People used to kill me on YouTube for that when I first started. I really like A-Chan's matchup this week. The Dolphins offense scares me. They should have a good week this week. I wish I could see it first, but you can't leave a guy like him on your bench. It's hard. I don't know. I like Brian Thomas Jr. though. I like that better. All right, pick'ems. But yeah. We just chilling out here. If you guys want to see more underdog drafts, let me know. If you guys have any more start sit fantasy football questions, all that jazz, definitely let me know. But yeah, in the meantime, we're rocking out here. We're cooling. We're chilling. I'm out here. If you got any fantasy football questions of your own, now is the time to ask. Do not be shy. I'm here up until kickoff, so definitely shoot those questions away. Should I start Tyler Warren or Laporta? Warren versus that Denver defense might be tough, but I'm not really that high on Laporta because I don't want to root for the Lions as a Packers fan. That's fair. I think the Bears are going to beat the Lions this week, honestly. I know that sounds crazy. I do like Tyler Warren's matchup better against the Denver Broncos. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities in this game for, Michael Pittman Jr. potentially, or Josh Downs, Tyler Warren to get receiving work late in the game when they're down. I think Bo Nix and the Broncos could put them away early with the run game, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting. But I do appreciate you asking questions, my dude. Thanks for hanging out in the chat with us. You're absolutely carrying the chat for us, so we love to see that. I'm thinking about maybe... Yeah, I'm going to put some more money on my account. Let me go do that real quick. I'll be right back. And we are back. Sorry for the delay. I don't really think I kept you that long, but if I was breathing in the mic, my bad. Still new to the streaming world. You gotta bear with me here. See, another 4-person $5. What are we thinking, chat? Another $5 draft? $5 draft? Going once, going twice? Anybody out there in the audience? Patty Mahomes or J.J. McCarthy? That's a good question, Josh. Thanks for stopping by in the stream. I think you're going to want to play Patrick Mahomes this week. I think this is a get-right game for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a great matchup in terms of the passing secondary of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles did look like they could get susceptible to the run last week, so it's kind of interesting, but Patrick Mahomes is going to have to deliver for the Chiefs. Even if they lose, he's going to be going down, dying on the sword. So I like Patrick Mahomes this week, and I low-key probably like Patrick Mahomes for the rest of the year going forward. If they're going to keep playing this like underdog label on them, I think that only fuels Patrick Mahomes to be a better fantasy quarterback for you. Appreciate you stopping by, Josh. I'm probably going to jump in another stream. What the hell am I saying? Another draft, because the hell are we doing? I got mad time. We got literally like an hour and a half before kickoff, and I got nothing better to do. So let's hang out, let's chill, and let's talk ball. Got my little Savannah Bananas cup here. Shout outs to those guys. Hey, man, I ain't much of a gambler myself, but I like fantasy football. Just doing the drafts for fun, you know. I don't really see it as like gambling. I'm just like, you know what? I'll lose the money. We could just talk fantasy football over me losing money, you know? That's totally fine with me. If you guys are just stopping by, this is your first time seeing the channel, thank you guys for watching. I do drop fantasy football content here regularly. I did have a video recently. You could go check it out. We did like snap counts and a little Thursday night football insight. I said start Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs, Zach Ertz. Those were going to be the guys to pop off. I said sit Terry McLaurin. Somehow YouTube got a hold of that, started getting out to more people. So a lot of people like my picks now. So definitely go check out that video if you missed it. CMC is a must start every week in fantasy. That is a Fendi. Do not leave CMC on your bench. James Cook or Chase Brown. I personally think I like Chase Brown a little better in this matchup this week, but that's just me. That's just me. I think you're going to get the Bengals in a shootout with the Jaguars. I would much rather have my fantasy players in that game versus the latter of Jets versus Bills, where it could be another, you know, week one fight like the Jets had, or it could be a more, you know, tight divisional game, you know, 20-17, something like that. It's hard to really get a feel of what those divisional games are going to be like, but I do definitely like Breece Hall no matter the circumstances. I feel like that is the one consistent in the Jets offense right now. They're going to be able to run the ball effectively with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen sprinkled in, of course. So I like that regardless. But James Cook versus Chase Brown, I like Chase Brown a little more. Just waiting for two more people to jump in. I thought this would kind of fill up. I thought this would be a little quicker, but hey, it's all good. Good things take time, you know? Patience is a virtue, so they say. I definitely agree with you, my dude. I think if we look at in terms of, you know, that what Vegas believes to be the over-under point total in this game, we're going to be in for a shootout. So you would much rather your players be in Cincinnati versus Jacksonville, which is why when I had the number one pick in the first underdog draft I did, I don't know if you were here for it, I took Jamar Chase over Christian McCaffrey. It's not that Christian McCaffrey isn't going to have an amazing day this week. He's the only guy they could throw to, really, or give the ball to other than Ricky Pearsall. But Jamar Chase, Cincinnati versus Jacksonville, that game could be fireworks. I don't want to miss out on that game. I want as much shares of Cincinnati versus Jacksonville as I could possibly get. If you guys are just stopping in, thank you guys for watching. If you have any fantasy football questions, start, sit, advice, let's talk ball. I'm here up until right before kickoff, so don't be afraid to ask. Appreciate everybody who stopped in, everybody that watched, even if it was for a second, if it was for 10 minutes. Thank you. Here we go. I have what pick? Let's see what pick I got. JTR, thanks for stopping by. Devontae Adams, Hollywood Brown, or Calvin Ridley? This is a good question. Thank you for stopping by. But I'm going to make this an answer as quick as possible. Hollywood Brown. I don't think I really feel great about starting Devontae Adams at this point. I'm looking at the box score from last week. I know I should be probably watching more game tape and not the box score, but it's looking a lot like last year where it was when Cooper Kupp came back from injury. It was Puka Nacua being him, and then you sprinkle in a little Cooper Kupp like last year. We're sprinkling in a little Devontae Adams, and this is just Puka Nacua running wild. I mean, this guy's getting his face stitched up, coming back into the game and still being him. Like, it's not that I don't love Devontae Adams and he can't be a beast. You know, one Devontae Adams catch can be 6 fantasy points if it's not a touchdown, but it's just the idea of limited opportunities. I get more opportunities with Hollywood Brown in a game that should end up being a classic. I do like Calvin Ridley, but I don't love him enough to say you need to start him against the Rams. It's not that the Rams are this world beater defense, but it's not like they're this exposable secondary either. So I like Hollywood Brown for sure. Yeah, I think you're right, my dude. I would just, chalk it up to they have bad luck, whatever voodoo magic is against them. But regardless, they're going to score fantasy points. I'm not a Bengals fan, so I don't care if they win or lose. I just need the fantasy points, you know what I'm saying? Waiting for my pick. I would love to see Jamar Chase not get selected here. That would be insane. Have a double pick with Jamar Chase and a running back. That would be incredible. Pacheco, Charbonnet, or Montgomery. So, I did make a video this week. I said that it really is dangerous going forward to leave a guy like Zach Charbonnet on your bench. But particularly in this matchup, I don't love the idea of... Well, first, I also don't love the idea of Puka Nacua here. I don't like that matchup too much. Let's take CeeDee Lamb. I switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I feel like Zach Charbonnet is a dangerous person to leave on your bench. Isaiah Pacheco is a great matchup, though. Javonte Williams looked phenomenal against this Eagles run defense last week. Maybe Isaiah Pacheco looks phenomenal this week. They're going to need all of their pieces without Pacheco. Without Xavier Worthy, without Rashee Rice. They're going to need people to step up, and Isaiah Pacheco could be one of those guys that steps up. So I like Pacheco this week in the Sunday night game. We'll just have to wait and see. It's not that I don't love Montgomery. It's definitely a safe choice, but I'm more so kind of keying in on Charbonnet and Pacheco because at least in this week or going forward in fantasy, there's a lot of upside with both of those players versus Montgomery is your safe, stable, you know exactly what you're going to get out of him, and he's not going to do you wrong. But there's pathways, of course. Pacheco and Charbonnet could do you wrong, but I like that ceiling of upside a lot better. Should I trade Breece Hall and Olave for Chase Brown? So, me personally, I would rather keep Breece Hall, but it's not like you're trading this asset that you need on your fantasy team in Chris Olave, I assume. I'm assuming, wow, that's a crazy name, this guy. But I'm assuming you don't really need Chris Olave in your lineup every week for production, so you can get away with trading more to get back Chase Brown, who is a stud. But I personally would rather keep Breece Hall. I think there's a lot of opportunity this year with this offense. They're a run-first offense. They're not going to throw the ball a lot. You're not going to see Justin Fields play phenomenal every week. I know the ladder to that would be Breece Hall is going to have bad games in the Jets offense if Justin Fields doesn't have good games. But Breece Hall is going to be a rock that is just going to always have opportunities in this offense. I agree. Eagles getting Jalen Carter back makes it a lot more interesting in terms of a matchup versus Pacheco, but I don't really believe that Jalen Carter is going to make them not susceptible to the run this week, because if you go back to last year, the Eagles did still have a problem against the run, and it was a big reason why Dallas had a hard time beating them because they struggled running the ball last year at least. So not saying that Jalen Carter doesn't make a positive impact for that defense. That would be ridiculous to say, but I don't think he makes a positive enough impact where I'm looking at Isaiah Pacheco and going, you know what? This isn't a good matchup. I don't want this anymore. yeah, if Chris Olave is literally a disposable piece for you, you could go ahead and make that trade if you like Chase Brown better. I personally think there's nothing wrong with Breece Hall, though. Because a lot of fantasy is getting the players you enjoy. Like I was just talking about, you want to get in the matchups that you have, like a Cincinnati versus Jacksonville this week. You want to be in that matchup. So I get wanting to trade for a guy like a Chase Brown. But at the same time, Breece Hall's a stud in his own right. So I don't think it's a trade you have to make. But if this person wants to take Chris Olave happily and will happily take Breece Hall, and you want Chase Brown and that'll make you happy, go make that trade. There's nothing wrong with that. Trying to see who could I round out this team with. I get 2 more picks. We start 2 quarterbacks. We start 1 quarterback. Like what's the deal here? Okay, you start 2 wide receivers. Copy. So I'm gonna need another wide receiver, but I missed out on all of the really, really good ones. But I like Hollywood Brown a lot. I think I'm gonna go Hollywood Brown here. That'll probably be my pick. I like Breece Hall too, though. If Breece Hall's available, I'll do that. Oh, would you look at that? Breece Hall is available. And we'll scroll down, grab a little Hollywood Brown. And I like that. I think we're in good standing now. Take a look at the draft board. Yeah, I wouldn't start Dylan Sampson this week. I don't love the matchup, honestly. I also don't love the game script for them either, to be honest. But obviously, long term, you'll be looking to start Quinshon Judkins eventually. You, like you said, can't do that now, but you will have that opportunity at some point. I'm personally also worried that maybe, not saying that it's a 50-50 backfield, but what if they don't get Jerome Ford out of the backfield, if that makes sense? Like, what if he's still going to log, like, more than just, like, 4 snaps in a game? Like, if they're going to give him, like, double-digit snaps on the field, that's going to eat into your Quinshon Judkins. That's going to eat in your Dylan Sampson. That's kind of where I have a concern. Like, they could just end up making this, like, a 3-man backfield, which would suck if you are a Dylan Sampson waiver wire. Like, if you went out and grabbed him on the waiver wire, or if you're someone that stashed Quinshon Judkins for that future opportunity of running away with it. The way it seems right now, Dylan Sampson looks to be the favorite, with Quinshon Judkins around, like, week 8 probably taking over and being the actual guy there. But Jerome Ford, and just his veteran leadership and presence, he's obviously not a great running back, but if he's somebody that still works and carves out a small role for himself, that could damage your Browns running back shares. So just be mindful of that. Alvin Kamara, Tony Pollard, or Javonte Williams? Thank you, boss man, for asking the question. I really appreciate you stopping by. I don't love Tony Pollard this week. I think you play Alvin Kamara for the sake of opportunity in that game. I don't love the matchup for Tony Pollard. I made a video this week saying to temper the expectations on him, even to sit him if you could. But Javonte Williams, it's not that I hate the matchup. I just don't think we're going to see him have another phenomenal game like he did last week. If you are a former Javonte Williams owner, you know he has his games where he pops off and then he fades out and disappears, and he just plays this mental gymnastics game with you all year long. Do I start you? Do I bench you? And if you leave him on your bench, he pops. If you put him in your lineup, he stinks. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, though. The 3-man committee is probably the less likely outcome of all the 3 scenarios, right? Like, if we were to say what's most likely here, we'd probably say it's way more likely either one of Quinshon Judkins or Dylan Sampson takes the backfield and wins it. But I don't want to mitigate or disregard the chance that maybe all 3 running backs play in this offense. Maybe it does eat into the workload of, like, You didn't think this guy was going to be obviously like a top 15 running back, but you're thinking if I could get even a split backfield committee and I get low-end RB2 production, I'll take that in a flex spot. 100%, I agree. But if there's going to be a third guy worked into it, maybe he becomes more of a low-end flex play. And then it's like, then what do we do? Because nobody's going to really want to trade for him. You're not going to really feel good about starting him every week. You're in like, it's kind of like almost like a wasted roster spot if Jerome Ford keeps his job. That's great news. Thanks for the update, actually. That's huge. I know he was, off the injury report as of yesterday, but now that he's active and in the lineup, that's good to see. I do think we're going to see Judkins get eased into it. I think, like I said, it's more likely one of the two run away with this job. But if Jerome Ford keeps playing, that's going to hurt. Just something to keep in mind. We still got like over an hour before kickoff. What are we doing here? I still got plenty of time. We still have plenty of questions to go through. And hey, we're just here. We're chilling. So if you got any fantasy football questions, now is the time to ask. Do not be shy. If you want to play underdog with me, let's go. Let's play. I'm going to jump into another draft. Why not? Just to have some fun. Just to pass the time, What else are we doing on this Sunday morning? We're waiting for kickoff to start. We got nothing better to do. We're chilling. Let's talk ball. I'm running out of coffee. This is a bummer. Do not like running out of coffee while I'm on stream, but hey, it happens. Devontae Adams, Olave, or Sutton? I like Sutton this week. I really don't love Devontae Adams this week or Devontae Adams going forward. Another thing to keep in mind is the Tennessee Titans secondary has been very good dating back to last year. They really shut down the Broncos offense last week. That's why I'm not really so worried about Bo Nix. I think he's going to have a good matchup. I think last week was a more difficult matchup than we expected it to be. So, excuse me. I like the Tennessee Titans secondary. I don't think it's a good matchup for Puka or Devontae Adams, but you're not going to not start Puka Nacua if you have him, obviously. You're playing him no matter what. He's pretty much locked in to get so much opportunity in these short passes, and his run after the catch ability makes him so versatile. But if Devontae Adams gets lined up against a L'Jarius Sneed or one of these really high-end corners, he could have a tough matchup. So I like Courtland Sutton for that reason. Just waiting for two more people to hop in the I keep calling this the live stream. Hop in the draft. I keep calling this the live. It's crazy. Oh, boy. What am I doing? Waiting on two more people. Let's talk more matchups, though, because I keep looking at, basically, the first page of things, and I'm like, I haven't really looked past, the Tyler Warren. So let's talk other matchups. I like Harold Fannin this week against the Baltimore Ravens. I think that's a good matchup. Jawan Johnson does not have a good matchup this week, but I like Jawan Johnson going forward. Jake Ferguson always kills the Giants. So definitely look to start Jake Ferguson if you have him. Brenton Strange. I really like Brenton Strange this week. I think he's a sneaky tight end that could finish, somewhere in the top 3 this week. If you're a FanDuel DraftKings kind of guy, I like him anytime touchdown, but that's just me. Bet responsibly, of course, and I'm not sponsored by any of these sports books. So you do what you want with that information, but I think Brent Strange is going to pop off today. Who else do I like today? You know who I don't like today? Bada bing, bada boom. I don't like this guy today. I didn't like this guy this season. I said not to draft him in the first round. I hope you guys took my advice and listened. Because if not, there may be more 4 for 45 games in your future without a touchdown. Just saying. Who else do I like this week? I like this. Been talking about it all day long. You need to have guys that are playing in this Cincinnati-Jacksonville matchup. Well, here he is. The starting running back. Guaranteed to touch the ball probably 20 times in this game in a shootout where a lot of points are going to be scored. I like ETN this week. A.J. Brown. What are we doing with this guy? Like, I'm no fortune teller. I can't tell you what the future holds for this. But, like, I have to believe in my heart of hearts that he's just so much better than this guy. Like, he is not this. Like, he is him. And he's just not getting the ball enough. And I'm a Cowboys fan. It's very unfortunate. We didn't lock down A.J. Brown. They really didn't even have, like, a game script for him, it felt like. This wasn't we locked him up, he had nowhere to go. Like, they were just like, all right, bet. We're going to run the ball. We're going to do whatever we want. We're just not going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown. And it's like, this week should be a good matchup for A.J. Brown. But are the Eagles going to throw the ball a lot? The matchup in the game script, I would say, would advise that Kansas City is sitting on top with a small lead or back and forth game where the Eagles may have to throw a little more. The run game shouldn't be as successful. A.J. Brown should, in theory, have a good game today. But because you just don't see it, because he doesn't, like, you just don't see it in fantasy, and the projections are up here and the performance is down here, and it's like, it's frustrating. What do we do with A.J. Brown? He's one of the best wide receivers in football. But you play him in fantasy, and you're like, that's it? That's all I get? Hurts. It hurts. Pun was not intended there. I like this matchup today. This is a guy that is going to get opportunity no matter what. He's the only guy they could throw to. I know Evan Ingram is in this lineup. I know they got him, but this is a great matchup. Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, they're going to feast today. Don't sleep on these guys. I'm telling you. Who else do we like this week? This is a player long-term I really like. But I don't think this matchup, like the last time he played the Browns, I don't know if we're going to have a great game from Zay Flowers today. But I know long-term, we're going to have more games like this. Best believe it. This is a guy that scores like 4 touchdowns every year, but is somehow like floating around that top 30 wide receiver in fantasy. You know who else used to do that? And we used to kind of mitigate and disregard what he could do as a player till he popped. Terry McLaurin was one of those. Yes, Terry McLaurin had bad quarterback play, had limited opportunities in that regard. This is an offense that doesn't throw nearly as much, but there are going to be red zone and touchdown opportunities for him. Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman had a ridiculous amount of touchdowns last year. That's not going to continue. Zay Flowers is going to grab more than 4 touchdowns this season, whether you like it or not. If he's healthy, he's grabbing more than 4 tutties. Oh, man. You must have been so happy to play against those two. That's a great week 1. You kind of just, you take the day off. You can relax, kick back, chill. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Who else do we like this week? You know what? For the people that don't watch my videos, because I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that maybe just stumbled across, or, sorry, maybe you aren't familiar with my videos on this channel. Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin is someone we need to watch today in this Colts-Broncos game. This is a player that is getting a lot more opportunities than he did a year ago. This is a player that Sean Payton really likes and thinks is blossoming as a player in his second year in the NFL. You can tell he's taking the right steps because what once was a guy that can only beat you vertically is now a wide receiver they trust to play a lot more. And he played more than Marvin Mims Jr. last week. And I don't think Marvin Mims Jr. is a bad... I don't think Marvin Mims Jr. is a bad player. But for Troy Franklin to play more than him in week 1, for Troy Franklin to have 6 targets against the Tennessee secondary that I just said is a tough matchup, that shouldn't be an easy matchup for receivers, for him to get open that many times to command 6 targets in this offense, I think Troy Franklin is going to have some kind of role in the future with the Broncos. He may just be what we thought Marvin Mims was going to be. So I want everybody to just keep an eye on Troy Franklin. I think going forward, maybe if you could add him before the kickoff starts, he may be a waiver wire guy this week. Who knows? PPR, Waddle or Walker? Totally torn. I got to be honest. I'm really totally torn for you too. I don't think it's a good idea to start Ken Walker at this point. But leaving him on your bench would absolutely suck also, right? Jalen Waddle should have a really, really good game today. This should be a get-right game for all of the Dolphins players coming off of a players-only meeting. Everyone's very frustrated. Everyone wants to win. I think Waddle may just be the better play, but it sucks to say that you can't start Ken Walker. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks for me to advise someone to not play someone that has RB1 overall upside, top 10 running back talent, and just telling you not to play him because Zach Charbonnet gets touches and opportunities as well. And we don't know how many opportunities he's going to get. We also don't know if they're going to be up in this game. Wow, I got the number 1 pick again. Like, we don't know how that backfield is going to, turn out. We don't know how much Zach Charbonnet is actually going to play or not play. So it makes Ken Walker a scary play, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I'm here. I got the number 1 pick again. I think Underdog knows I'm slipping them some kind of money under the table here. Doing some dirty business because I keep getting the number 1 pick. I agree with you. It's definitely scary to be like, yeah, play Jalen Waddle, but he's a phenomenal player, and there's going to be opportunities against the New England Patriots this week. We saw Jacoby Myers fry them. I think there's a good opportunity for Jalen Waddle to go off this week. I took a lot of Jamar Chase today, so just out of respect for Christian McCaffrey, I'll take CMC here. I would love to take Jamar Chase again, but diversify the portfolio a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. If you guys are just tuning in, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any fantasy football questions of your own, now is the time to ask. And if you like fantasy football content, make sure you check out some of these videos on the channel. There's going to be plenty throughout the week. I'm going to cover waiver wire right after week 2 is over. I'll try to have a video out on Monday for that, but we'll see how that goes. I think Christian Gonzalez is already ruled out. I could be wrong about that. Don't fact check me on it, but I'm 98% sure that Christian Gonzalez is already out, which makes me feel good about playing Jalen Waddle if that's the case. I do agree with you that that is a component of this that could make it tricky to confidently or blindly play a Dolphins receiver, but I like it. I'm going to take Brian Thomas Jr., I think it was my dude that was worried about Brian Thomas Jr. Taking him blindly. I have blind faith in this guy. And we're officially out of coffee. Bummer. It's crazy that I'm definitely going to have another cup of coffee after I get off the live. But hey, we're like an hour away from kickoff, so things are going to get intense. You know what? I'm going to scroll through, see if there's any, on my phone, late game updates or notifications that I should be worried about. Okay. Koo officially out. Brock Bowers back at practice. I'm going to have to make sure I put him back in my lineups. I need a quarterback. So Joe Burrow makes sense. Of course he does. No crazy news right now, in and out. At least for right now. What do I need? A tight end? Tyler Warren is there. Take it, Tyler Warren. That's an easy one. Yeah, nothing too crazy right now. All I saw was Brock Purdy may actually play week 3. It's not out of the question. So I'm going to say he's out week 3, plays week 4. But that's just me. I need a second wide receiver. Luckily, there's still good wide receivers. Excuse me. I would happily take T. Higgins. Maybe. Yeah, this one needs a quarterback. So at least I know if this player doesn't take a T. Higgins, that I'm pretty much in the clear to take T. Higgins. He needs a second wide receiver, so I can't rule it out. Trust Brian Thomas Jr. Trust him. He's going to do big things. I believe. I do believe. Hollywood Brown. Okay, T. Higgins is still in the mix. We're getting T. Higgins, chat. We are all good to go in that regard. A Joe Burrow, T. Higgins stack. If that doesn't go well, have Jamar Chase in all the other leagues. I like the way I just set this up. Getting my players that are in Cincinnati versus Jacksonville. I didn't get Travis Etienne in this draft. That's a bummer, but I have McCaffrey and Jahmyr Gibbs, so I don't need Travis Etienne. I have Brian Thomas and T. Higgins, so I don't need Travis Etienne. We got this. YB! What is up, brother? How are you doing? Shout out to my favorite streamer, YB. He streams Apex Legends. He's on TikTok. He's on Twitch. If you are a fan of that video game, like I am, if you are a fan of watching video gamers who are good at video games, play video games, you need to go check out YB. He is sensational. I highly recommend. Thank you for popping in. I am a big fan of you, YB. Thanks for stopping by. I have faith in Nico Collins. I'm a little worried about Nico Collins after week 1. There was a lot of questionable play design for him, but better days are ahead for Nico Collins. The only thing you have to worry about is, can he stay healthy for us? That's the only thing that really stops him from being one of the best wide receivers in fantasy. It stops him from being in that Jettas, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb conversation, you know? Can he get there just by staying healthy? Like, that's all it really comes down to for him. But yeah, let's take a look at the draft board. CeeDee Lamb, Puka, Chase Brown, Lamar. It's a good team. Achane is the last player. This team with Justin Fields, it's interesting. I don't love it, though. This Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Saquon stack, that's a good one. But I really like my chances here with Joe Burrow, T. Higgins. If they have a game, this should be fun. But yeah, you guys let me know. Who's got the best team here? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be the problem with the Texans. Kind of why I didn't want to draft anybody on the Texans. That offensive line is such a struggle. CJ Stroud will figure it out. CJ Stroud will get going. But it's not easy to figure it out and get things going when nobody can block for you or protect for you on your offensive line. Flex Jennings, Quentin Johnston, or Kayshon Boutte. And you have Drake May at quarterback. I would stay away from Jawan Jennings in this one. You can play Quentin Johnston, and I'm okay with that. I think I like Boutte the best out of all of them, if I'm being honest. Jawan Jennings may be out. That also may be the case. But regardless, I don't love Jawan Jennings. So I'm going to say go ahead and play Boutte. And hopefully you put him in your lineup, and he's not Boutte. Let me check if Jawan Jennings is out. Let me at least do a little bit of that service for the chat. Confirm real quick. Nope, Jawan Jennings is in. Jawan Jennings is playing. I have no interest in starting him. It's his first game back from, torn shoulder? I'm good. I'm good off that. Don't love the quarterback situation. Don't love the offense. The matchup is great, but start Boutte. I think that's the way to go. I don't know if I love a Patriots pass catcher right now. Obviously, Hunter Henry gives you that low floor. You get 4 or 5 receptions, no touchdown. Stephon Diggs is kind of like a wild card. He could be amazing, but he doesn't really look too great. Kayshon Boutte looked like the guy that could operate in space. Pop Douglas is also there, though, which is kind of interesting. So I'd say give Boutte another shot, see how he looks. I would probably play Boutte. It's hard to trust Quentin Johnston from week to week. Like, yes, he had an awesome week. Oh, he's not in here because it's Monday night. But, yes, he had an awesome week. I don't know if we could really rely on Quentin Johnston to be the guy every week. Also, something to keep in mind, Keenan Allen did look really good. Ladd McConkey had a bad game. So, it may not always be the Quentin Johnston show there in LA. So, I would feel better about Boutte. I agree. I probably wouldn't want, unless you have Ricky Pearsall or Christian McCaffrey, I wouldn't really advise playing a 49ers player with confidence. The tight end position looked a little interesting. If there was anybody I liked Tonjes a little better, but again, there's so many tight end options. You're not just gonna start him over some of the other guys that may be available in your league. But yeah. I appreciate the chat helping each other out. Chat looking out for chat. We love to see that. We ride with Boutte. Let's go. Good luck, YB. Good luck. I know if things don't work out, I'll have to text you and apologize myself. But I really do like Boutte. I like this team I built as well. I think this is a good one. Let's go build another one, I guess. Why not? What the hell else are we doing? I'll probably stay on live for another like 45 minutes. I do want to, get downstairs, watch football comfortably, that kind of stuff. Enjoy my Sunday football. But I did want to hang out with you guys, talk some ball beforehand, give some start-sit advice, give some ranking opinions. Who do we like this week? Who do we not like this week? So, yeah. I'm going to jump in another underdog draft. 100%. If I'm wrong, please come back. Please hit me up in the comments. Go to any video, shorts, whatever, and I'll see it and I'll own up to it and I'll be like, you know what? I fumbled the bag for you. But I did not have a good week 1. And I know that I'm out hunting for blood in week 2. And I want all my picks to hit. So I started off with the right foot on Thursday night. I'm looking to keep it rolling. Baker or Kyler? Baker or Kyler? This is a great question. So we have Baker Mayfield going up against the Houston Texans. That is a pretty good secondary. But we do like this matchup for the wide receivers in Tampa Bay and the quarterback position. Kyler Murray going up against the Carolina Panthers. I think I like that matchup just a little more. I know it's a little scary to trust Kyler Murray blindly, but at least early in the beginning of the season, you should be able to trust Kyler Murray confidently until that, Call of Duty timing comes out and he starts to regress a little bit. I think for now, Kyler Murray is a good piece to play a quarterback, and maybe you can move off of him in the future if you don't see him as your long-term plan. Shakir, Tillman, Waddle. I'll do the pick one first. Shakir, Tillman, Waddle. I like Tillman a lot. I think I like Khalil Shakir a little more in this matchup. I think Buffalo is going to need to rely on their most, solid wide receiver they have, and that's Khalil Shakir. Not to say that Keon Coleman isn't a beast, but he's pretty boom or bust. He had a lot of the game where he wasn't getting going, didn't look like a great player, and then in the second half, they started throwing the ball a ton, giving him a ton of opportunity, and that's when we started to see it pop off. Can't really guarantee that they're going to be slinging the ball down against the New York Jets. I don't think that's very realistic. They're probably not going to be down 2 touchdowns in the fourth, so I'm going to say Khalil Shakir is probably the safest play out of those 3, but I like Tillman as well, so if you like Tillman, you can go ahead and play him. Pick 3 between Marv, Pearsall, DJ Moore, and Hollywood Brown, where definitely playing Hollywood Brown, so let's just get that one out of the way. DJ Moore, Pearsall, or Marv. I like DJ Moore, and I feel like Pearsall and Marv is kind of a toss-up here. I'm going to say play Ricky Pearsall, play DJ Moore, play Hollywood Brown. Should I panic on BTJ? No, we just talked about that a little earlier. I know you weren't in the live earlier, but we're not worried about Brian Thomas Jr. He's over-delivered so much in his career so far in fantasy. He's a young player. It's his second season. It's his first game of his second season, and he had a bad week. I don't think we really need to worry so much. He's over-delivered numerous times. It was only a matter of time before he came back down to earth and had an all-right game. Jamar Chase had an all-right game or a bad game last week. We're not panicking. The sky isn't falling. We shouldn't do the same for Brian Thomas Jr. Sorry, Ashton, I missed your comment, but Pittman, Shakir, or Travis Hunter? Sit one. Sit Pittman. I like Shakir a lot this week. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this Jacksonville-Cincinnati game. I think that even though Michael Pittman Jr. had a good first week, I think the run game is a lot more prominent for the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of Michael Pittman Jr., and it's also something to keep in mind. There are a lot of receivers on this team. There's Josh Downs. You have Alec Pierce. You have Adonai Mitchell. Tyler Warren is a phenomenal tight end. There's an easier pathway, even though Michael Pittman Jr. is the guy who should be slated for the 7 targets, where that game doesn't really go so right for him. I like Shakir to get in the end zone. I like Shakir to be a big part of this Jets-Bills game. And I like Travis Hunter. Plenty of opportunities. I think he's going to explode. It's hard to say sit Michael Pittman Jr. after the game he had, but let's just look at his stats. Like, he had 8 targets last week, 6 for 80 and a score. Of course, it was great if you started him. If you left him on your bench, you felt a little weird about it. I don't know if that means you could definitely play him, though, because he has up games, he has down games. Just because you sat him when he had an up game doesn't mean that every game is going to be phenomenal for you. Yeah, I agree. I just don't think there's really too much of a real need to panic, at least. It's not like you said, it's not a great game, but I'm not so panicked. Yeah, I mean, you can't be mad when your wide receiver gets 7 targets in a game and only catches 1. There's obviously other underlying factors that are out of our receiver's control in that game, and you just kind of have to chalk it up and move it along. Another example of that was Drake London. I mean, he didn't have a great game, but the guy had 15 targets. How could you be upset in a performance where, yeah, there was a lot of points left on the board, but there was signs of opportunity and reasons to be excited for future weeks? I agree. Brian Thomas Jr., he also had that end-around touchdown. Like, there is a lot of versatility that Brian Thomas Jr. provides for the offense. I wouldn't be so worried. Let's be honest. It's not going to be Travis Etienne being amazing every week. He's the lead guy, yes. He's going to have all the opportunities. But he had a really good game last week. And he may not have a really good game every week. He didn't have a really good game any week last week. And that's why Brian Thomas Jr. popped off. So that is something to keep in mind, that if Travis Etienne is going to pop off, that's less opportunities for Brian Thomas Jr. But that doesn't mean panic about Brian Thomas Jr. because you're not going to get a perfect Etienne game every week. Ferguson or Strange? Damn. That, for me, is a cop-out because I was just talking earlier about how I really love both of these players this week. It's really just a toss-up for me. If you believe Brenton Strange is going to score a touchdown, play him. Brenton Strange's career doesn't tell us that he's going to score a touchdown. Jake Ferguson is usually the guy that scores touchdowns against the Giants. So if you're playing for the upside, you're playing for the highest ceiling, I guess play Jake Ferguson because you know the touchdown will be there. If your heart of hearts believe that this guy, who is slated for 4 targets in this offense, could see some red zone opportunities against the Cincinnati Bengals, which I think is very likely, you can go ahead and play Strange as well. Jacoby Myers or Tet in my flex full PPR. I'm going to say go ahead and play Jacoby Myers. I think there was a lot of opportunity last week for the Kansas City Chiefs to throw the ball. The Chargers' run defense is very good. That's going to be a really tough matchup for Ashton Jeanty. Maybe Brock Bowers isn't 100%. Maybe they're going to look to target Jacoby Myers a little more. Who knows what that could look like. But even if Brock Bowers is healthy, we know Jacoby Myers is still going to get his. So I like Jacoby Myers on Monday night. For my wide receiver 1 and 2 in flex spot. Okay, we're just going to build the whole team right here, right now. So we got Adams, Hollywood Brown. Okay, that's a lot going on right now. Quentin Johnson, Boutte. We got... I agree. I think you sit Tet. I'm also just not a big Tet guy. I like not to be rude or like hate or like prey on someone's downfall, but like I'm obviously not preying on his downfall, but I just don't see in year one the explosion for Tet McMillan. I don't think he's very technical in terms of route running. I think what his best traits are and abilities are is just out athleticing you, like just being a better athlete than you. He's bigger, taller, stronger, faster, and that's great. But in the NFL, when there are scheme defenses to stop you, how much does your athleticism take you when you're not very technical as a route runner? And it doesn't help that Bryce Young isn't having a phenomenal season so far, or we don't project Bryce Young to be a top 12 quarterback in the league. So that's going to hurt him as well. But I just feel like we were a little too early on Tet McMillan. And I think let's give him an offseason. Let's let him develop and grow as a player. And then we can judge Tet McMillan for what he is. Is he the guy that over-relies too much on athleticism and doesn't have, minor, intricate, fundamental skills like a Quentin Johnson had to develop? Or is he actually just him? For my guy Juan that needs help in his lineups, I like Hollywood Brown. I like Zach Charbonnet. And I feel like you have to play Devontae Adams, but I don't love that. Personally, I would probably slot in Calvin Austin over Devontae Adams, but I'll say definitely Hollywood Brown, definitely Zach Charbonnet, and I'll let you pick after that who plays your other wide receiver spot. Fannin Jr., Jawan Johnson. I don't like Jawan Johnson's matchup at all this week, so play Harold Fannin Jr. and just hope for the best. I think he's a really good player. We'll just have to wait and see. I agree. That was probably why I didn't love drafting Tet McMillan so much this year. Is I understand how phenomenal and amazing he was, but when you watch the tape and you watch the film, I don't see... Again, I'm not trying to hold him to some kind of like Devontae Adams standards or anything like that, but I don't see like A or B plus NFL route running when I watch the tape. I think that's something that he needs to work on, but I don't think he's a bust. I just don't think... sometimes they draft wide receivers and we just assume that they're ready, finished products. And maybe Tet McMillan wasn't a completely finished product, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be an awesome wide receiver in the NFL. I still like him. But I agree. It's a little easier to, dominate in college when you're just the better athlete, when you're faster, stronger, taller. I mean, he made a ridiculous catch in week 1. He did like that crazy one hand off the side. He's crazy, athletic. He's super talented. But I want to see him get better as a route runner. I want to see him get better as a separator. And I think those things will come with time. Just not right now. But I don't love Jawan Johnson this week. I would look to play Harold Fannin. But next week, you can play Jawan Johnson again. It's just not a great matchup. Looks like nobody's going to join this underdog. We've been in this one for a little while. Yes. That was... what's really funny about you saying that? I really did think Emeka Egbuka was the best wide receiver. I'm not perfect, though. I thought Matthew Golden was number 2. Yeah, I kind of said that low because I'm not that confident about that anymore. I really liked Emeka Egbuka. I didn't love the landing spot, so I couldn't be that excited about him in Dynasty or, redraft leagues, of course. Then you hear Chris Godwin's not going to play right away. Emeka Egbuka's going to slot in. Now you love Emeka Egbuka, but now we don't know when Chris Godwin comes back. Does he take his opportunities back? Does Emeka Egbuka run away with the job? It's a little unclear. So even though Emeka Egbuka is the best player, if we had him in Carolina, we'd be drafting him like a third-round pick in redraft. He would be that good. But at the same time, like if we put ourselves in the perspectives of like a GM or an owner, yeah, you're not wrong about that. I think there would be better days for Golden, but back to Egbuka, like if we were an NFL owner, right, or a GM and we had to make a draft pick, yes, we've seen Emeka Egbuka on tape and he's amazing, but if somebody told you there was a 6 foot, I don't know how tall Ted is, 6'5", 6'3", something like that, tall wide receiver, super athletic, can run like a gazelle, makes one-handed catches, you're going to want that guy over Emeka Egbuka probably in your franchise, a little more flashy, can sell you more tickets. So I get wanting a Ted McMillan. The ceiling and the opportunity is greater. But like we agree, like Emeka Egbuka was a better wide receiver pick. But that just doesn't move the needle for the Panthers, you know? Like that's not like a sexy pick on draft day. Like doesn't get the franchise excited. Ted makes the franchise and the fan base a little more exciting. But I still like Golden. There will be better days. We saw the opportunity that could have been on Thursday night, but it's just not there yet. Half PPR, Monty or Sampson, I would go with Monty. I don't think Dylan Sampson is a great matchup, and for some reason, every time I see the word Sampson, I just want to say the words Jerome Sampson, because all I could think about is that time that guy front flipped into the end zone that was so baller, or whatever he did. Yeah, he front flipped, but yeah. I'm just going to say Sid Dylan Sampson. I wish it was Jerome Sampson, but play Monty. Yeah, 6'4", 220, runs like a gazelle. Like, how could you not want to draft him? I get it. I understand. You watch his tape, and he looks unguardable. I understand. I can't really hate them. But, like, I look like a bad guy for saying I don't love Ted McMillan in year one of fantasy. I kind of come across as like a hater. But I'm just looking to see if more of what he can develop into. Hey, we made it into a lobby. Fantastic. Fantastico. We got that third pick. Okay, this is a little more normal. We kept getting the first pick every time. I was like, what the hell? I like the third pick. If you guys are just stopping by for the first time, thank you so much for watching. If you have any fantasy football questions of your own, now is the time to ask. Do not be shy. I'm here. I'm drafting on Underdog. I'm just trying to have a grand old time here, trying to talk ball with the boys, and if there's any girls out there, with the girls. And yeah, let's go. If you got any fantasy football start sit questions, ask away. I'm here. Not going anywhere. Well, I am going somewhere when the games kick off, but right now, I'm not going anywhere. Ask away. I agree with that. It's hard to trust any of them. I still even have a hard time trusting Chuba, to be honest, but the stats say otherwise. I can't fault that. Let's after I make this pick, we'll look at. Oh wow, I just keep getting Jamar Chase every time. This is amazing. Let's look at Chuba. 16 carries, 3 receptions. If he doesn't get the touchdown, like, whatever. You're not jumping for joy or anything like that. But here is where it gets interesting. Rico Dowdle. 2 catches out of the backfield. Didn't get a lot of carries, but saw play time. And he may end up carving out a little pass catching role for himself. Could be a 2-minute guy if their offense does get a little better. So I think Rico Dowdle is somebody to monitor going forward long term. Just keep an eye on him. Make sure you have a way to get him on your waiver wire before everyone else does. Because I could see Chuba Hubbard honestly losing a lot of his work to a healthier guy that is a little more efficient. You know what I mean? If you look at their careers, Rico Dowdle last year was a more efficient runner in the Cowboys offense than Chuba Hubbard was, and same thing for yards per reception. So a guy, Chuba Hubbard, who's always been built off volume and not efficiency, bringing in a guy with efficiency and hyper efficiency could alter how that situation looks. There's a lot of good running backs here. I'm going to take Brian Thomas Jr. I like Brian Thomas Jr. in this matchup. Getting a lot of Cincinnati versus Jaguars players. You'll love to see that. Joe Burrow would be a cool quarterback add. Could help if Chase Brown gets a receiving touchdown and Jamar Chase. But yeah, we'll see what happens. If you guys have any fantasy football questions, start sit advice, now's the time to ask. Do not be shy. I would love to get Joe Burrow here, and I do get Joe Burrow here. Phenomenal. Just stacking the Bengals. Let's go. Do we really need a tight end if we're just grabbing players from the Cincinnati versus Jacksonville game? I don't know. Could wait on tight end, honestly. I'll take Ferguson. Yeah. Stand on business. I'm giving out advice. Start Jake Ferguson. I'm going to follow that advice. I'm going to back the people. Because that's what the people want to see. Who am I going to take, though? Breece Hall isn't there. I may go Travis Etienne. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Etienne. Keep it in the family of Jacksonville versus Cincinnati. It's definitely possible. I think he will keep his 3-down work, but what made Chuba Hubbard such a great fantasy play was that there was never a competition for touches, and now you're looking at a situation where there's competition for touches. Like, it could potentially be, less opportunities for Chuba because Rico Dowdle gets sprinkled more because he makes more of his opportunities happen. Fannin Jr. or Ferguson standard? I'm going to say play Jake Ferguson. I just took Ferguson over Harold Fannin. If you look at the numbers, Jake Ferguson usually beats up on the Giants, so I like that to continue. It's been a while since the Cowboys lost to the Giants. Jake Ferguson has had his moments in this rivalry between the two, so I like Jake Ferguson to pop off one more time. Thanks for your question, though, Chivalry King. I appreciate you stopping by, King. Let's take a look at the teams. Obviously, I have a thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals game today. Another team that stacks Gibbs and Barkley. That's cool. I like that. McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen. That's a great stack. Breece Hall is your second running back. And Malik Neighbors. That's a really good team. Still like my team better, though. Yeah, no doubt, bro. Thanks for stopping by. We don't have that much more time before kickoff, but I'm still here. I'm here for you guys. If you have any fantasy football questions, now is the time to ask. I'm going to go check if there's any last-minute updates that I need to know about in fantasy so I could tell you guys about it. But it looks like nothing too crazy is happening. There's no major updates. Not seeing anything crazy. Quinshon Judkins is playing. Brock Bowers is probably going to play. He practiced on Saturday. So, yeah. I'm going to have to, after this live stream, make sure Brock Bowers is in my lineups on the teams that I have Brock Bowers. And, yeah. That's basically it. Again, if you guys have any fantasy football questions, don't be afraid to ask. Now is the time to ask. If you're just joining, make sure you smash that like button for your boy. I would really appreciate that. Helps the live stream get out to more people as well, so that's a big deal. That helps your boy out a lot. For whoever is my new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. I really do appreciate that. Drop videos on this channel pretty often. I try to do like 3 videos a week. I work full time, so not trying to make an excuse, but just understand that this isn't my full-time job, so I try my best. Can't make videos every day. Would love to make videos every day, but I try my best. I do my thing. Definitely going to have some kind of waiver wire video either Monday or Tuesday. We'll talk again more about like snap counts and a Thursday night preview like I did last week. And then we'll just go over Sunday and Monday Night Football start sits, who I like, who I don't. I got you, my friend. I don't blame you, but I appreciate you stopping by before you took a nap, because sleep is king. You know, I don't play around with my sleep, and the fact that you chose watching my stream over taking a nap, that's love. At least for me, that means I'm doing something right. So thank you. Yeah. Other than that, we love the Cincinnati versus Jaguars matchup. That's going to be fun. Who else do we really like in this matchup? Let's go through some of these players that are still available. Jonathan Taylor should have a really good week, but my thing with him is, can we just unlock his full potential as a receiving back? I mean, he had 3 catches for 27 yards last week. That's a really good sign for someone that hasn't really seen much of like 3 or more receptions in the last few years. It's nice to see him get back to that. We know Jonathan Taylor is more than capable of it. It's just we don't get that opportunity. And if you play in a full PPR league, that kind of sucks because it makes him a little less valuable than all the other running backs that are equal to his skill level. Yeah, I hear you. Your Packers won. They did a great job. They took my boy Micah Parsons, and they're running with it. So happy for you in that sense. Not happy in my sense, but I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm not going to be happy. That's just how it goes. We are cursed. But, yeah. I think there's still some good games you're going to want to watch in the 1 o'clock hour, though. 12 o'clock for you because you're Central Time. I think the Bills-Jets game is going to be fun. I'm not 100% sure. I think Seattle-Pittsburgh is 1 o'clock. That's going to be a fun one. Shout out to Jerry. Yep. You could definitely thank Jerry for that one. Definitely hooked it up. To be fair, though, the Packers, not in trade capital, but they signed him to a really big contract. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I don't want to say, like, the Cowboys just gave him for nothing, because, like, you got to commit to a big contract if you want to trade for Micah Parsons, so I respect that. Shout out to Jerry. But Marvin Harrison Jr. this week. Fields or Murray this week? Got Fields off waivers, but I drafted Murray. Both have good matchups. I personally don't know if I love the matchup for Justin Fields this week, but I'm going to say, regardless, I like Kyler Murray a little more against the Carolina Panthers. I think that this is an opportunity for Kyler Murray to have another really good game. And maybe if you like what you see in Justin Fields going forward, you can trade one of your 2 quarterbacks and just start the other one. Oh, dope. Your boy's a Steelers fan. Yeah, I honestly think that one's going to be fun. Like, not saying that, like, the Seahawks have this shot to win, but we don't really still know for sure, like, what this Steelers offense looks like. Like, last week was a weird game for them. Are they going to be a little more efficient with the running? Are they going to continue to look for Rodgers to throw touchdowns for them in this offense? It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to watching that. 14 full man PPR. I have McBride, and I will run double flex, and I have Hollywood as one of my flex. Do I start Jawan or DeAndre Swift or Benson? So I'm going to say play DeAndre Swift, but I don't love the matchup. It's just something that you're going to have to keep in mind. But the reason why you're going to want to play DeAndre Swift over a Jawan Johnson, over a Trey Benson, is simply volume. You're going to get 17 touches with DeAndre Swift. You don't know how many touches you're going to get with Trey Benson. You're kind of just banking on a touchdown at that point, to be honest. And when we look at Jawan Johnson, it's really not a good matchup. Maybe you could argue the opportunity is going to be there for him to rival or compete with a DeAndre Swift's point total. But at least if you play DeAndre Swift, you know you play the guy who's going to get the most opportunities and is going to give you the best chance to win at least. Ooh, we got defense questions. Haha, let's go. Kicker and defense, honestly, some of my favorite area of expertise. So let's just get right into it. Cowboys, Cardinals, Seahawks defense this week. I would play the Cardinals defense this week. And if you couldn't play the Cardinals defense, I would look to play the Cowboys defense after that. And then which two would I play in standard, James Cook, Conner, or Travis Etienne? Definitely playing Travis Etienne. And I'm going to say James Conner slightly over James Cook. James Cook is a great running back, kind of relies on the PPR and the catches. So if you're in standard leagues, I like James Conner to just get you more rushing yards and probably more likely to score a touchdown or even more touchdowns. Defense and kicker, though, I do love breaking down defense and kicker. I know it sounds weird, but the truth is you kind of win your fantasy matchups in the weirdest and most intricate ways. And your defense and kicker combining for 17 points versus 8 points could be the difference of winning or losing your fantasy weeks. And something as so small as that, something that could be easily added and dropped on the waiver wire, for you to not have your P's and Q's on that and to just not even, I don't want to say to not get it right, but to not try to do better every week and to keep the same kicker and defense every time, unless you have literally the best one that scores way more than everybody else. You should always be looking to add and drop a kicker. Like, if you're the guy who drafted Brandon Aubrey, congrats. You have a great kicker. But guess what? I can add and drop kickers and get the same kind of production that you took with, I don't know, you probably drafted him early because that's what a lot of people do. Draft the best kicker early so you have the best one. Add guys all week long. Add and drop. Add and drop all season long. You don't have to worry about it. Cardinals defense or Pats defense? I'm going to slide. Actually, not slide. It's Cardinals defense by a lot. But Pats defense, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It could easily be a game where they get, destroyed, or it could be a game where Tua gives them a lot of takeaways. But there's a lot more certainty and guarantee if you play the Cardinals defense, because the Cardinals defense is actually a good defense. That's something that a lot of people are, I guess, sleeping on because they think they see the Cardinals, they think, like mid to below average team, but this is a really good defense they have. Do you trust DeAndre Swift in the flex full PPR league? My bench is Waddle, J-Mo, Montgomery, and Pittman. So, I'm going to say because the way you worded this is trust. So we want the safest guy. The safest guy that you listed to me would be David Montgomery because you know exactly what you're going to get out of him. Swift gives you the most opportunity, and I'm going to say probably the most upside. It's hard to say for sure Waddle is going to give you more upside because we don't know exactly what this Dolphins offense looks like. Michael Pittman is a phenomenal wide receiver. I don't see him having another great game this week against the Broncos. He's going to have Pat Surtain following him around. So I think David Montgomery, if we're looking for who you can trust the most, is the right answer. But I don't think starting DeAndre Swift is a bad thing, but DeAndre Swift doesn't have as good of a matchup as Montgomery. So if we're looking for trust and we're not looking for someone to score a gazillion points, I think the answer is Montgomery. I got Lions defense. If I could pick up Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Chargers, I would pick up the Bills defense. I would say that, yes, the Lions defense has been good in fantasy. They can sack the quarterback. They're very good. But they played, why am I drawing a blank? Who did they play? They played the Packers week 1. The Packers don't really have good receiving options. The Packers were shredding their corners, and it's like, I would have to believe that Rome Odunze and DJ Moore could really carve that secondary apart and make it tough for the Bears to, tough for the Lions to keep up with the Bears offense. We saw, it was a weak secondary last week for them against Minnesota. No one really had amazing games, but both Rome Odunze and DJ Moore did look really good. Even Zacchaeus got his opportunities, at least when the offense was clicking. So I like the Bills defense versus the Jets versus taking a risk on the Lions defense versus the Bears that Ben Johnson revenge game could be a potential spot where the Bears, I'm sorry, not the Bears, I keep saying that, where the Lions get punched in the mouth and now they're down 0-2 in the season. So, definitely good thing you looked at your waiver wire on defense. I like the Buffalo Bills defense this week. They're playing the Jets. It's a divisional game. It shouldn't be a shootout. It shouldn't be a lot of fireworks, but we'll see how it goes. I also like the fact that we can probably assume that the Jets are going to turn the ball over at some point. So that's going to be 2 points for you. Maybe they run it back for a touchdown. That would be amazing. But at least you're going to get a couple points off that. And you're probably going to see... Actually, I shouldn't even say that because the Jets' O-line looked pretty good last week. There may be some potential for the pass rush to get through and sack Justin Fields. Probably stay on live for like another 10 minutes and then call it. Doesn't seem like we have that many more people in here. It seems like everyone got their questions out, so I don't feel like I need to stay on live that much longer. But hey, we still got time. So while you're here, throw your questions. Ask away. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere for the next 10 minutes. And yeah, let's rock out. Let's chill. Still love Tyler Warren this week. I think this is it's a big one. That's a big matchup this week. I feel like I'm running out of things to talk about. We talked about so much in this video. We talked about Sun. We talked about Chuba. We didn't talk Tyreek Hill though. I don't know. It's kind of like AJ Brown. Like I want to tell you, don't worry about it, but yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I would just drop the Lions defense. I don't think that's gonna be one that people are rushing to get back. And maybe you come back next Sunday morning and you're like, hey, Turtle, I need some advice. Which defense should I pick up? And I can help you out next week. Every week I rotate defenses. Lucky enough for me, I started the season. I checked the schedule. I'm not going to say I got lucky with it. I checked the schedule. I saw the Cardinals' first 2 games were the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. And I said, that's the defense I'm going to add in as many leagues as possible. I don't have to worry about who I'm starting for the first 2 weeks. It's already covered. And then I'll start adding and dropping as the season goes along. I don't think you need to keep more than one defense on your roster. Unless you're in a 14-man league and you have the best one. I don't think it's worth carrying more than one defense. Just drop the one that you have and you can go add them back up. No one's going to be probably spending fab or a waiver claim on that. And if they are, that means you're probably getting somebody much better on the waiver wire. And that's a good thing. Who else do we like this week? Who else do we like this week? DK. DK is a good matchup. I don't love DK Metcalf this season, but I think DK has a good matchup against the Seahawks. Tariq Woolen did not look that good. I feel like DK Metcalf has the size, has the strength to expose that matchup. We'll see. If you guys are just stopping by, thank you for watching. If you have any fantasy football questions, now is the time to ask because I'm going to get off live in a few minutes. So if you got any questions, you better be asking because once 1 o'clock kickoff comes, I'm out of here. I'm watching football. I'm being laser focused into the games. I need to know who's popping off for fantasy so I know who I'm talking about in a video come Monday when you guys want to watch my videos. On ESPN, you can't pick up anyone unless the guy is out of IR when they're healthy. Oh, okay. So you have an illegal lineup. So you need to fix your lineup so that it's not illegal. You're probably going to have to drop somebody who's on your bench potentially so that you can do that. I know in my leagues, you would lose the week if you left someone healthy on your IR. Kind of don't think that's fair to stash and hoard players. But in your league, if that's not a penalty, I guess just wait for your commissioner to put the hammer down on you. But I would just do the right thing. Drop someone, make some room for Judkins, and then you could add your Bills defense in the next 20 minutes before that game starts. You'll be good to go. But I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by, asking your fantasy football questions. I had honestly a really great time with you guys. Thank you guys for asking your questions. Honestly, just love talking fantasy football with y'all. So anytime I get to just kick back, relax, draft some teams on underdog that are probably going to lose and I lose my money, and just talk football with you guys, that's good enough for me. Charbonnet or Ridley at my flex. So the Tennessee Titans are playing the Rams. You have Zach Charbonnet. I'm going to say play Charbonnet. Charbonnet gives you the upside. Sappy wants to know Jerry Jeudy versus Quentin Johnston. Play Jerry Jeudy, Sappy. You got this. Go off, Queen. Go do your thing. Good luck to you. Your bench is Debo, Sharbs, Bill, Olave, Monty, Sampson. So we're looking for somebody to drop out of there. I think the hospital ball merchant Chris Olave is the guy you could drop out of that list. We're definitely not dropping Zach Charbonnet or Debo Samuel. Dylan Sampson has the opportunity for the future. Bill is a future RB1. Well, not like top 10 running back, but you get what I'm saying. RB1 in the depth chart now. And you have Montgomery, who should never be dropped. So we're going to have to drop Olave there. And yeah. We're just like 20 minutes away from kickoff now. This is crazy. I'm starving. I got to eat something. I'm going to find something to eat downstairs once I'm done with this. Maybe I'll make a little sandwich. Who knows? Let me know what kind of sandwich I should make, though, if I make one. But yeah. Got a lot of likes on the live. Thank you guys for that. You guys are rock stars. And yeah. Any other fantasy football questions? This is kind of like the witching hour. Get your questions in now while you still can, because 1 o'clock is going to arrive and I'm not going to have any answers for you anymore. Sorry. So again, got any fantasy football questions? Now's the time to ask. Biggest takeaways from today: we really like Cincinnati versus Jacksonville. Get as many players in your lineup as you can. For the tight end position, we really like Jake Ferguson this week. We do believe in Brenton Strange as well. And Dalton Kincaid is a sneaky one, in my opinion. At the quarterback position, guys, we like this week. We like Kyler Murray. I'm on the fence about Justin Fields, to be honest. We like Patrick Mahomes a lot this week. We like Dak this week. And we like Bo Nix to prove all the haters wrong and just absolutely show out for us. So let's root for Bo today. Bo is my guy. And yeah. Okay. You ain't lying. Go for some kind of like salami sandwich. You know what I'm saying? That could be lit. Even though yesterday I kind of hit that on the head. I had a pastrami sandwich yesterday. That was fire. Definitely enjoyed my pastrami sandwich. It's a little oily though. But you know what? I kind of ate it late. That was all me. I should have ate it as soon as I got it when it was hot, and I didn't. But hey, life goes on. You live and you learn, and that's that. DeAndre Swift or Aaron Jones today? Saka Mariano, thank you for joining. I'm going to say, because DeAndre Swift has a not good matchup this week, play Aaron Jones and hope for the best. Well, you have a guy who's obviously in a split backfield. I think Aaron Jones has a lot of pass catching upside, which makes him good. If you play in a PPR league, definitely make it Aaron Jones. A standard league, maybe you could get away with playing Swift, but I would still lean a little more towards Aaron Jones. But that's just me personally. I like the matchup better, and I think Aaron Jones will get the job done for you. He's just always a guy that we always project regression or a season in where he has a lesser role or less efficient, and that usually isn't the case. So play Aaron Jones, feel good about it, and good luck to your team, Mariano. Hope for the best. Hope everyone that joined the stream wins in fantasy this week. Obviously, I know that can't be the case because maybe someone who plays me in fantasy this week might have watched. I doubt that, though, because I'm not that cool and famous. But if I was, then that wouldn't be the case because I want to beat them in fantasy. Flex, full PPR, Sutton, Kamara, Jacoby Myers, or Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to say you're definitely playing Cortland Sutton. I think if it's just one choice, we're going to go Sutton. If you need a second player, I like Kamara as well. Jerry Jeudy has a great matchup, but I don't think playing Jerry Jeudy because he has a great matchup means leaving a guy like Cortland Sutton on your bench who also has a great matchup and could potentially score more points for you. Of course, Mariano, anytime, brother. Jalen Waddle, Tyrone Tracy instead of one of those two. No. I would say Aaron Jones, and you made the right decision by narrowing it down to those two players. So, good job to you, Mariano. I think Aaron Jones is the answer. Back to Jacob. I like Cortland Sutton in this opportunity. I think he's head and shoulders above like the best player in that group. Underdogs got him as like the 12th wide receiver in this early window. So, I mean, wide receiver 1 is certainly in the realm of possibility for him this week. Yeah, no doubt, brother. Good luck. I guess that's going to wrap it up for us. It's a 1:45. Games are about to start. If anybody's got any more last minute, fire away these last start sit questions. But if you guys are new to the channel, definitely feel free to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Drop fantasy football videos on this channel pretty often. I try to stay as consistent as possible. I love talking fantasy football with you guys. I thought this was a great time. I had a blast. Thank you to all of my recurring viewers and new viewers who just stopped in. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm going to see you guys back on probably Monday or Tuesday. We'll try to do another live stream on Sunday. This was fun. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys either Monday or Tuesday. That'll probably be the next video. But my name is Turtle. This is Outlier Fantasy. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.